Welcome back, treasure hunters. So I wanted to show you a whole bunch of stuff I found over the past week or so. But before I do that, I just posted my latest video, which were some of the recent sales that I've had, along with the profits that I made from those sales. I posted that on Facebook and YouTube. So like and share that video, and you'll automatically be entered to win that mid-century Steuben glass bowl shipped to you free of charge. So I actually have quite a good variety of different things that I found. First thing here that I got from a Savers. Definitely immediately caught my eye just because you can tell this is not just a piece of, factored glass. It's handmade. It's got a really cool, like pulled overlapping texture here in the middle. And it's in kind of has a gradient in this darkish smoky blue color with a pretty wide and thick top here. And it's well made. It's very clear. And it is signed on the bottom. I haven't been able to ID this yet. And there's no way you're going to be able to see this because the signature is pretty faint. I know it starts with the K. I did a little bit of research, but I picked this up for, I think, $6.99 at a Savers. It almost has, I don't know, these drips kind of remind me of like a candle or something. So it kind of has like a little bit of a gothic feel, I guess, but definitely pretty cool vase. Next thing here I found at a Goodwill, which is a little further from my house. And this is another piece that I haven't been able to ID yet. I just know it's old. There is no marking I can see here on the bottom, but just the way it's made, it's hand painted, and it's just this old woman. It's a porcelain little figure of an old woman with a couple baskets, but it's in really good condition. There's no damage to it or anything. And this thing was only, I think, like $2.19 or something. So I just picked it up to see if it could possibly be made by, a company that is somewhat collectible, but having it hand painted and stuff is always a plus. So I'm going to post this to one of the antique identification Facebook groups and see if anybody recognizes it. So this next piece here I found at a Goodwill, and this was $4.39, and it's, just a kind of a standard looking shape to it, but it's handmade. It's got this matte black and then this color splash over it. And it is Japanese. And you can see like where the glaze doesn't touch over the mark here. I haven't posted this one yet too. There's a Japanese ceramics and art identification group. And there are some really good people there that really have helped me out and help a lot of people out because, I don't know, they know how to read Japanese and a lot of people don't know how to read Japanese over here in the States. So I'm going to get this ID'd and hopefully be able to find out who made it. Or sometimes Japanese factory pottery, I've noticed too, can look like studio pottery. It's very well made. And I don't know if this is part of a factory, or I've seen a lot of stuff like this ID'd as kanji. Either way, for $4, this is a pretty cool vase. And on that same trip to Goodwill, I also found this Alabaster sculpture. And this is, a lot of times with these, you'll notice, major damage somewhere to them. So they're just like given to Goodwill. But the only thing that is wrong with this one is, and it's not even that noticeable, but it looks like one of the goat's horns might have been broken off. But other than that, this is in really good condition and it's very well made. It's really smooth. And it's got some good detail, especially here in the face and in her little thing on her head or whatever. I don't even know what to call that. And it is on a marble base and has a felt bottom. I haven't taken this felt bottom off yet, and this can be an indicator too. Looking at the bottom here, and there's no signature on it, and I thought maybe there might be some kind of screw here going through holding the statue on, but I think it might just be, I don't know, glued or something. This is another piece I'm gonna post to, a vintage antique art group on Facebook and see if someone can help me at least get some sort of age range on, something, or maybe like a country where it might have been made, so I can get a little bit more guidance on doing some research. I did try to search some stuff out, but I wasn't really, I was coming up with all sorts of stuff, so it's a little more difficult when you don't really have anything to go off of. But I got this for, I think it was $4.99, and obviously anytime I find a sculpture or statue type thing like this that isn't like a composite or like a reproduction, I'm going to pick it up. Now this piece here I also got at a Goodwill for $2.99, and this is a hand painted, obviously a large charger plate, and it's got two parakeets here with some leaves coming around. There's a little bit of crazing in the glaze, but I picked this up because this does have a mark on the back, and let me see if I can pop that glare. And I'm not really sure exactly what it says or who did this, and I haven't posted this one either because I just got this, but it's just a palette with a paintbrush going through, and then I wasn't really sure even what it says. It maybe says something car, or, I really don't know. I don't think I've seen this mark before. Since it's hand painted and has that unique mark, I'll take a shot on that and see if I can figure out who made it. So the next thing I found, I also got at a Goodwill, and this was $4.39, and it's just a tall, nicely made piece of studio pottery with this cool design here around, and stoneware. It is signed on the bottom. I'm just not sure whose signature this is. It kind of looks like Houston or something like that. And this is another piece that I just recently found that I need to post. There's a studio pottery group that I mentioned before on Facebook that is very helpful in trying to ID different artists so you can get an idea of, who made it. And even if they don't recognize the signature, there's a lot of people that are pretty good at deciphering the different signatures. So I'm going to check this out and see if I can figure out who the artist is. And I really like the glaze here, the coloring, and with these designs at the top. So even if I don't figure out who made it, I'll probably still list this for like 40 or 50 bucks and should be able to sell that on my Etsy store. On the same day, I also found another piece of studio pottery, and this one I was able to ID, and this is done by Dave Blakeslee, signed Blakeslee here on the bottom. And this, I just did a quick search, and his name came up in a lot of different works that he had, and his work sells depending on the complexity and the size of it. Some pieces were selling in the hundreds of dollars, like low hundreds of dollars, and pieces like this were over 50 bucks, but a lot of them were under 100 or right around 100. So either way, I got this for $2.99, and there's no damage to it. It's pretty neutral in color and has a nice shape to it. It's not too large, so I think it will sell pretty easily. I think I listed this to start at $75 on just giving the artist's name, but I'll probably end up knocking it down to around 50 after a little bit. So this next thing I got also at a Goodwill, and this is a wedding vase, because it has the two stems here coming up with the handle, and it's got a Southwestern Native American, obviously, design to it with the feathers and the tomahawk or hatchet here. And it goes all the way around, and it's in the same coloring that, you know, a lot of these types of pieces are done in. And on the bottom, it's signed Little Violet. I'm not really sure what this is over here. But this was only $2.99. That's why I picked it up. If this was, I originally, when I first saw this, I thought they would have, just because of the size, would have priced it at, you know, around like $8.99 or $10.99 or something. I probably wouldn't have picked it up for that much, but seeing that it was only $2.99, you know, it was just a good deal. So the last things I'm going to show you here is I picked up this pair of, these are hand-painted lithographs, and then here on the bottom, it says printed and colored by J.T. Bowen out of Philadelphia. And both of these are done originally by John James Audubon. The name probably should sound pretty familiar any time. You've probably heard of the Audubon Society, but he did a ton of stuff with birds and has a lot of different nature stuff. And he used to basically document and draw all these different animals. And at the top it says number 66, and then plate 327. And this is a sandpiper, male and female. And then this one is a pinnated grouse. And this has two males and a female, and same thing. This is printed and colored by J.T. Bowen out of Philadelphia, and number 60, plate 296. Both of these were $4.99 a piece, and these I've seen range in pricing. I just recently listed both of these for $200. When I first saw these, I do see a lot of different pieces that have birds or flowers or stuff, but they're just reprints or more modern reprints. But seeing that these are, you know, original lithographs from the work of J.J. Audubon, his original work sells for a ton of money, but these lithographs still can fetch a good amount of money if they're in good condition and stuff. And these are the original frames, I'm pretty sure. And they did have an old sticker on the back here for the gallery or frame where they were framed. So these were definitely a really good find. I don't know if I'm going to get 200 from them, but, you know, I don't want to start too high, but I also don't want to give them away. So we'll just see how that works out. And if I have to drop the price down a bit over time, that's no problem. So those are some of my recent thrift store finds from last week. And I have a handful of other stuff too that I'm going to show you in another video shortly. So if you want, drop a comment below. Let me know which items that you really liked that I found. As always, also, you know, ask any questions down there and I'll answer you as soon as I can. Before I let you go, be sure to jump over to my Facebook page and share that video of my recent sales so you can automatically be entered to win that mid-century Steuben glass bowl. I'll be giving that away, choosing a winner probably in the maybe sometime next week. Jump over and do that. Please subscribe to the channel as always. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks. And as always, good luck out there when you're treasure hunting.